Well, hello everyone. It's Tim here from Melbourne, and yes, I'm back home finally, which is a really nice thing after some great times in California for the Music Teachers Association conference. Really enjoyed having a chat with lots of teachers, meeting some members, giving some presentations over there. So my question today and my little topic of discussion is all about what to do when you've got a waiting list in your studio. And this, of course, is a really exciting thing. This is what we want to aim for. Obviously, our marketing's working, word of mouth is getting out, and we've positioned ourselves in the market so that people would like to come and learn with us. And in fact, we've got too many people who'd like to come and work with us, and so we've had to start building a waiting list. And so while this is a great position to be in, and many of you may be in this position, it's also a little bit challenging because you've got to make then a decision. And I think you've got three options with regard to which way you go. And so you can obviously stay as a solo teacher and have a wait list. And I know many teachers that do that. And that is a fantastic approach as well, because not everyone is going to want to grow their studio bigger than themselves, which is the next option, of course. In fact, you've really got two other options if you've got a waiting list. So one is stay as you are as a solo teacher and just continue to have a waiting list, which is great because you'll never be short of students. Option number two is you could move to a group teaching format. And we've talked lots about that. I've done webinars about it. We've put out heaps of blog posts about converting over to group teaching. So that's an option for you if that's of interest. But again, teaching in groups isn't necessarily going to be everybody's cup of tea either. So the third option is what I wanted to talk about today, and that's to hire another teacher. And in effect, by hiring another teacher, you're starting to see yourself as both a business owner, but now an employer. And you're starting to potentially consider that you might be moving towards maybe building some kind of music academy or a music school. Because what having other teachers working for you will allow you to do is, of course, significantly increase the number of students that you've got that you're able to impact. And I think when you've got a waiting list and you are working as a solo teacher, one of the considerations, I guess, is that really that waiting list is a little bit like having a bank account with money in it that you can't access. Because ultimately, if you're prepared to take that leap and hire another teacher to help you, then you can convert that potential income into cash in the bank. And that's a great thing for your cash flow. It also allows you to make more money without teaching more hours. Now, sure, when you hire other people, that comes with it a whole lot of other considerations. You're obviously going to be managing people, you're going to be training them, you're going to be assessing that they're doing the right thing. There's going to be issues, people are going to call in sick, all these kinds of things happen. That's true. However, you are then in that position to convert your waiting list, which is, untapped potential, into potential income, which is pretty cool. Nice to see Sophie here. Hi, Tim. Nice of you to say hi, Sophie. And please say hi as you log in. I'd love to know too, as people are logging in or watching the replay, have you already stepped into this hiring of other teachers situation, or are you still a solo teacher? Are you happy to stay a solo teacher? Let me know just in a couple of quick points where you're at, where you would like to be. Because as I said before, it's totally fine to stay as a solo teacher and have a waiting list, and many teachers have done that. But if you're the kind of person who has thought, I wonder what it would be like to actually hire someone and see if I could make a go of that, then I'm very, very excited to be introducing you to the free training that I've got running in just about 2 days' time, which I'll tell you about in just a moment. I think one of the other issues when it comes to hiring other teachers is knowing when that time is right. Because obviously, if you've got a waiting list of one student, you probably don't want to hire a teacher for that, because that one student might pull out and then you don't need a teacher anymore. But maybe if you've got 10, maybe that's a good time to hire. And you've got other considerations, like have you got space that teacher could teach in your studio or your house? Or would you be hiring a teacher who could travel to students' houses while you continue to teach at home? Or maybe if you're personally a traveling teacher, are you creating a traveling music studio in effect? So they're all important considerations when you're thinking about whether the time is right. The other question you've got is, how do you find teachers? What age should they be? How do you interview them? What should you pay them? And these are all really legitimate questions if it's something that you haven't done before. So what I'm really excited to do is let you know that this Saturday, my time here in Melbourne, which would be Friday afternoon and evening in the United States, and I'm afraid midnight in London for you night owls, I'm running my next live webinar. And the topic is, we've titled it, How to Scale Your Studio and Hire Hero Teachers. Because hiring of hero teachers is probably the most important part of this discussion. But what I've done is I've actually teamed up and I've got a co-host coming on who has been there and done that. Because I personally haven't built a multi-teacher, multi-location studio myself. And so what I wanted to do is get on the call someone who's actually done it. So my co-host for the webinar is Joyce Wong. Now, Joyce has been in and out of some of the workshops and blog posts, and indeed she's been on one of my webinars before. Joyce built from the ground up a music school in Brisbane. Actually, I think it started in Sydney. She'll tell us the exact details. She then built it to over 3 locations, growing hugely. And she set up all the policies and procedures about hiring and all the structures and administration. And then, more recently, just in the last couple of years, has even gone the next step. She actually sold the music school and she's moved on to another pursuit, which she'll tell you about when we come live on the call. So the time for this webinar is, if you're in Melbourne and the eastern part of Australia, it's going to be 9 a.m. this Saturday morning. So in Auckland, if you're in New Zealand, it's probably 3 hours ahead, I think. So that'll be about midday on Saturday, which is 7 a.m. Saturday if you're in Singapore, Hong Kong or Perth. For those of you in the United States, 7 p.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. Pacific on Friday afternoon. And I know that unfortunately some people will be teaching, of course, Friday Pacific time, 4 p.m. But, I've had to judge it by how many people we can get at the right time zone all around the world. And for those of you in Europe, I'm afraid it's 12 p.m. London, 12 a.m. London, 1 a.m. over in Europe. But I will, of course, have a replay, and the replay will go for 48 hours, 48-hour access for replay. Of course, if you're in my InnerCircle membership, then you can watch the replay at any stage. Sophie says, yes, I'm about to hire my first piano teacher, and this training sounds like just what I need. Fantastic, Sophie. That's really, really exciting. I wonder how it is that you've got to the point where you've decided, yep, this is time to hire. So I'm going to look forward to seeing you on the webinar. Make sure you join in live so we can ask you some questions about that, because it sounds like you're at exactly the place that I've pitched this webinar to teachers at. So here's some of the things we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about some of the advantages and disadvantages of building a music school or music academy, knowing whether the time is right, choosing your location. This could be that the teachers you hire travel, as I said. It could be that they come into your house and teach when you're not teaching, or teach while you're teaching if you've got the space. Or it could mean that you're actually going to consider moving into a commercial, a leased space of some sort, or hire a church hall or community centre or something. There are definitely some options there. It doesn't necessarily have to be a commercial lease, but that's probably the most sensible if you're looking to expand in a big way. We're going to talk about some tips for marketing, both online and offline, your new enterprise. Because, of course, once you start growing and expanding into hiring other teachers and getting more and more students, then you actually have the opportunity to hire more, to get more students for those teachers that you've hired. So you want your marketing to be really just rolling along. You want your attention to stay high. and you want to just keep naturally getting people in the door, interested, along to a trial lesson if that's what you'd like to do, and then hopefully converting into a regular signed up student. And we'll also talk about Google Suite for administration. So I use Google Suite in my business, and I know Joyce runs all her businesses on it, and many people do. It's a great package, and so we'll talk a little bit about how you can use Google Suite and the Google tools for administration of your growing studio, which is going to be really useful. Even if you're not running a multi-teacher studio, it's really helpful. Some of these tips that Joyce shares, I've learned so much from her. It's been so good. So if you'd like to sign up then, and you haven't done so already on my site, then if you type the word webinar into these comments, whether you're watching the live or the replay, we will hook you up with our little chat bot, and it's going to take you through the process of grabbing your details for the webinar. So just type webinar into the comments whenever you're ready, and we will make sure that you are signed up for access to that training this weekend. And I've got to say too, as always, I love giving away bonuses. If you've been on one of my webinars before, then I'm always giving away downloads and video access and all those kinds of things to people who are present. But I have an extra special bonus. This is only available if you are joining us actually on the live call. So if you're in London, it's going to mean you're up at midnight, but I know some of you are night owls, so maybe that's okay. What we're going to give away is actually a copy of Joyce's book, which I don't even have a hard copy because it is this fresh. I've just been reading through the draft. This is a fantastic book that Joyce has just written. She's a multi-time author, and this is her latest one, The Art of Creative Business, Simple Steps to Building Your Creative Dream by Joyce Wong. I'm not sure if the text is around the right way for you guys. If someone could let me know, that'd be good. It looks like it's the right way for me anyway. But if you've got to read backwards, it's The Art of Creative Business. And Joyce is just so natural and bubbly, and her personality shows through. And it's just really natural. It's just, there's no fluff. It's just her experience of creating a number of different businesses, how she went about it, and particularly how creative people like us can build successful businesses. And so she's got a book of it. If you'd like a copy of the book when it gets released, which isn't far away, you've got to be on the webinar live, okay? And this is my best version of the book cover. Yes, Joyce is in Australia. She lives in Sydney, just north of where I am at the moment. And the other thing that we're going to be giving away is Joyce has actually created a course all about Google Suite, Google Docs, Google Sheets, and using that in your business. And so she's actually giving, I don't know why she's doing this, she's a superstar. She's giving away access to her course on Google Suite for free to anyone who comes on the webinar live. So I'm really encouraging you to join us live. And my software is very, very clever. It knows exactly who's been live or who's watched the webinar and who stays to the end as well. So you've got to be live, you've got to watch the whole webinar, and you'll get access to those two things. Joyce's book when it comes out, and also her course all about going really deep into the Google Suite. So hope that is of interest to you all. As I said, the webinar is this Saturday morning, 9 a.m. If you're ever in the United States, it's 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, and midnight over in London, 1 a.m. in Europe. So I hope you can join us. It's all about starting to build your music studio, your music academy. And as we've said, we've called it How to Scale and Grow Your Studio and Hire Hero Teachers. And I am just so excited to be able to hang out with Joyce and all of you guys again this week, because I didn't do a webinar last month because of all the travel that I was doing. So I'm really looking forward to getting back into it, because I know how much of an impact they have, and I totally enjoy running them. It's always an absolute pleasure. Sophie, you're using Google Suite too, which is great. So hopefully we'll give you a few extra tips, and I'm sure you'll be able to share some of your ideas with us as well. So guys, typing the word webinar into the comments will give you the details for how to save your seat. So do that now if you haven't done so already. If you've already been on my email list or you're in my membership, then you may well have already signed up. And if so, I can't wait to see you this Saturday, my time, for our chat with Joyce. And as I say, just have a bit of a think. If you do have a waiting list, then just consider that if it's a big waiting list, and I know some people have maybe 10, 20 people on their waiting list, then ultimately that is money that's just sitting on the table, and you could potentially convert that into cash in your bank if you're happy or interested in potentially taking this next step. Now, what about for those of you who don't have a waiting list at the moment? Well, that's totally cool. If you are okay with that, maybe you're at a size where, you know what, actually, I don't need a waiting list because I'm really happy with my 20 or 30 students, whatever it is. If, however, you would like to start building a waiting list, start building your numbers, and maybe down the track, look to hire some extra teachers, then also make sure you join us, because we are going to be talking about some of those marketing strategies that can really help to grow your studio, even if you are a solo operator at the moment. So if you've got any questions at all, if you're watching the replay, then pop down your question in the comments. I'll make sure I follow up with those as much as I can. If you're live now, thank you so much for joining us. Give us a thumbs up or a heart, and feel free, of course, to press the share button if you know of any other teachers who would benefit from this training and be interested in it. If you can share this quick little video, that would be fantastic. As I say, I love just giving away as many ideas as possible on these webinars. So I'm going to look out for you. Sophie, we'll look to see you there. I can see Terry has joined us as well. So welcome. Looking forward to seeing you all this weekend for the training. And until then, I'll sign off. Have a great end of the week wherever you are in the world, and look forward to seeing you this weekend. Bye-bye, everyone.